round and round, round and round, round and round. Slip onto the orbital, the city's falling back. Sodium lights bleeding gold across the tarmac. 6 lanes wide, but it's just me in the night. Watford Gap to Dartford, every junction feels right. The engine hums a frequency I never learned to name. And every mile I'm losing who I was before I came. M25, take me round again. No destination, no beginning, no end. Orbital dreams on a concrete ring. Round and round till the morning sings. Cobham services, coffee in a paper cup. Radios playing garage from when we both grew up. The Heathrow planes are diamonds hanging in the dark. I could drive forever, never need to park. Surrey Hills are shadows, Essex is a glow. Every exit whispers, but I don't wanna go. M25, take me round again. No destination, no beginning, no end. Orbital dreams on a concrete ring. Round and round till the morning sings. 3 a.m. The lorry's on the road, but I'm a satellite in the London Center code. One more loop, one more chance to think. One more orbit from the edge, from the brink. The city sleeps inside the rain. I draw around it.
The Thames is black and silver, moving slow tonight. Embankment lamps are painting ripples into light. I'm walking where the water meets the city's edge. My heels on cobblestones, a quiet little pledge that I won't check my phone, won't think about the rest. Just me and all this river, heading east and west. And London doesn't sleep, but London doesn't stare. It lets you fall apart with dignity and care. Thames at midnight, hold me like you hold the moon. Carry what I can say, carry me through every bridge you're crossing, every tide of sign. Thames at midnight. You were always mine. From Vauxhall down to Wapping, the apartments glow. 1,000 little windows with their private shows. The Oxo Towers blinking between the bridges, there's a kind of peace where all the noise of living finds its own ease. Thames at midnight, hold me like you hold the moon. Carry what I can't say, carry me through every bridge you're crossing, every tide of sun. Thames at
North Circular, the road that time forgot. Hanging Lane, Giraffe, tie in London in a knot. Past the Ace Cafe, where the bikers used to run. Now it's just me and taillights, everyone's gone. Brent Cross to Barnet, Finchley in between. The A406 at night is the strangest thing I've seen. Rolling on the North Circular, nothing pretty but it's mine. Every corner, every blur. We don't drive it cause it's fast, we don't drive it cause it's clean. We drive the North Circular cause it's London in between. Rolling, 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 rolling. Waltham store to Chiswick, through the concrete and the rain. Every roundabout's a memory I can't explain. The kebab shop still open by the Bounds Green turn. Fluorescent light and garlic, there's so much to learn about the parts of London that the tourists never see. The in-between, the ordinary, that's enough for me. Rolling, rolling on the North Circular, nothing pretty but it's mine. Every corner, every blur. We don't drive it cause it's fast, we don't drive it cause it's clean. We drive the North Circular cause it's London in between. Rolling, 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 rolling. Not the glamour of the West End, not the edge of Zone 1 high. Just the sound of England sleeping and the amber traffic light. And the city wraps around me like a circle with no end. Body
The market gates are locked, the punks have gone to bed. Chalk Farm Road is empty, street art overhead. I'm sitting on the bridge above the lock and looking down. The canal is dark and quiet in this noisy little town. The smell of incense fading from the vintage stores, and Camden's finally honest when there's no one in the halls. Camden after hours, that's when I can breathe. When the crowds have scattered and the night's for me. No one selling leather, no one playing loud. Camden after hours, no performance, no crowd. The jazz cafe's gone silent, Coco's lights are dim. I'm humming something tender on a North London whim. Past the Amy mural, flowers still remain. A little shrine of color in the early morning rain. Electric ballroom shutters down, the neon starts to fade, and all the noise of daytime feels like something that we played. This is where the misfits came to build a little world before the rent got heavy and the flags were all unfurled. I still believe in Camden when the tourists disappear, when it's just the foxes and the moon and me right here. Keeps filling up with all the things we meant to say. Back here, back here.
Dipping down below the river, concrete closing in. The Blackwall Tunnel swallows every sound except the engine. Tiles are yellow, green and flickering. The air is getting thick. 2 lanes tight, no hard shoulder. Gotta move quick. Claustrophobic beauty in the tube beneath the Thames. Down there everybody's equal. No one knows your name. Under the river, under the wave, under the water we accelerate. Blackwall Tunnel, take me to the other side, where the light breaks open and the road gets wide. Every time I enter I forget to breathe. Every time my surface feels like make-believe. Victorian engineering, holding back the flood. 100 years of pressure in the iron and the mud. The radio cuts out, it's just the tires and the wall. And somewhere overhead a cargo ship is standing tall. Greenwich on the south, the towers on the north. I'm caught between 2 Londons, pushing back and forth. Blackwall Tunnel, take me to the other side, where the light breaks open and the road is wide. Every time I enter I forget to breathe. Every time my surface feels like make-believe. They say don't break down here, there's nowhere left to go. But breaking down's the only speed that I've ever known. And somewhere underneath the Thames I left her owe me there.
Pastel houses stacked like macarons against the sky. Portobello sleeping, but the streetlights catch my eye. I'm turning down a crescent where the gardens hide behind Victorian iron railings, and I'm leaving stuff behind. The wine bar on the corner, the bookshop with blue doors, and all those little moments that we said would still be ours. Notting Hill at night, painted needed sugar on a street where the money meets the music and the broken meets the sweet. I don't live here anymore, but I keep coming back for the colors in the dark on this familiar track. For the colors in the dark on this familiar track. Brought the carnival, the bass shook every wall. Steel drums and sound systems, the whole city standing tall. But now it's just the echo and the confetti in the drain. And me, a late night tourist walking home again. The garden square is locked, the key is not for us, but I can hear the fountains from the upper deck buzz. They painted over everything but couldn't paint over this. The feeling that I'm almost home, the almost not quite bliss. And Notting Hill keeps all its pretty secrets in the walls. The colors in the dark on this familiar track.
Lifted up above the terrace roofs on concrete stills. The Westway cuts through London like a bruise that never heals. Paddington to Shepherd's Bush, elevated flying free. The Clash wrote songs about this road and now it's carrying me. Graffiti on the pillars, tower blocks on either side. This is London's rawest nerve, there's nowhere left to hide. Westway Flyover, raised above the ground where the city can't reach me and I can't hear the sound. 6 lanes in the sky on a motorway to nowhere. Westway Flyover, I don't even care. The Trellick Tower's watching like a lighthouse made of flats. Brutalist and beautiful, they don't make them like that. Below me there's a market and a mosque and a pub. 3 versions of this city and I'm driving high above. White City on my left, the old BBC, and everything that's London spread out under me. Joe Strummer walked these shadows but we drove this line. Every rebel found the Westway when they needed a sign. I'm not a rebel, just a driver running late, but the Westway doesn't judge you at the elevated gate. And the flyover keeps lifting me above the things I feel. And the flyover keeps lifting me above the things I feel.
I climbed the hill in heels, which wasn't very smart, but the city from up here could restart any heart. The shards and needles stitching clouds into the night. Canary Wharf is blinking like a lighthouse out of sight. The grass is wet, the bench is cold, I couldn't care at all, 'cause London from this angle makes me feel 10 feet tall. Primrose Hill, show me everything below. All the lives and all the lights and all the letting go. From up here, the city's small enough to hold. Primrose Hill, worth the climb, worth the cold. Sylvia wrote poems a flat just down the road. And Oasis shot a video before the morning showed. This hill's been holding secrets since before the city grew. A front row seat to London and the oldest kind of view. I can see St. Paul's, I can see the eye. A million bedroom windows saying quiet little goodbyes. They say the best things in this city aren't for free. But this hill, this view, this night, it's all for me. And London looks like something I could learn to love again.
Cheap and square on the Monopoly board, don't let that fool you. Old Kent Road's got more character than Mayfair ever threw you. Peckham on the left, Bermondsey to the right. This is where the lorries run and London shows its might. Fried chicken shops and betting shops and £1 stores that gleam. And every kind of London living you could ever dream. Old Kent Road, nothing fancy, nothing clean. Roughest edges, truest faces I've ever seen. This ain't a postcard, this ain't a tourist photo op. Old Kent Road, real London never stop. Past the gas holders rusting like a crown without a king. Past the warehouse raised where South London learned to sing. The Walworth Road connects me to the elephant below. And every bus that passes has a story I should know. My granddad drove a cab and said this road's the real divide between the London that you visit and the London where you hide. They're building new apartments, glass and steel and grey. But Old Kent Road keeps pushing back, and it so can't wait. Can't gentrify a feeling, can't rebrand a soul. Old Kent Road stays Old Kent Road, unbreakable and whole. The cheapest square on the board still owns the richest. Grab, 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 grab. Oh, oh, oh. Grab, 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 grab. Oh, oh, oh. Old Kent Road, real London never stop. Grab, 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 grab. Oh, oh, oh. Grab, 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 grab. Oh, oh, oh. Old Kent Road, real London never stop.
The narrow boat to sleep in, painted red and green. Ropes tied up to bollards in the spaces in between. I'm walking on a towpath where the joggers come at dawn. But midnight owns this water and the daylight crowd is gone. Little Venice to the east, a heron standing still. The city falls away along this hidden little rill. Regent's Canal, slow me down, take the pace of something older than this town. Let me float like the barges, let me drift like the leaves. Regent's Canal, teach me how to breathe. Past the London Zoo, I hear a sound I can't explain. Something wild and ancient calling out beyond the chain. The Islington Tunnel, dark as any London night. I walk around the top because the towpath ends in fright. King's Cross on the right, gas holders reborn, and everything in London getting polished, getting worn. They built this for the cargo, for the coal and for the trade. Now it carries tired hearts along the path the workers made. 200 years of water holding London at its seam. The quietest road in London and the closest thing to clean.
Elephant and castle, where the roundabout don't stop. 6 roads pouring into one gigantic concrete knob. The shopping center's gone now. The pink and ugly love done missed, replaced by something shiny that the money could resist. I grew up counting buses at the junction by the War Memorial. Every 68 and then 71, the rules were territorial. South London's beating heart was never glamorous or neat, but Elephant and Castle put the rhythm in the street. Round and round the elephant, the city spins again. South of the river, south of the money, south of the rain. We don't need your postcards, we don't need your magazine. Elephant and Castle, roughest time I've never seen. Ooh, yeah. Roughest time I've never seen. The Bakerloo line rumbles underneath the road, and Strata Tower whistles when the winter wind has blown. Top, a monumental futures that the locals couldn't stop. The Latin Quarter's fading, La Bodeguita's last goodbye. Apples on the corner where the new apartments ride, but concrete kinda raised the base that's living in the walls. The elephant remembers even after everything falls. Round and round the elephant, the city spins again. South of the river, south of the money, south of the rain. We don't need your postcards, we don't need your magazine. Elephant and Castle, roughest time I've never seen. Roughest time I've never seen. My uncle had a locksmith shop behind the coronet. The cinema turned nightclub, turned a thing we can't forget. Ministry of Sound just down the road, the bass would shake. Every Friday night the ground itself was wide awake. They're calling it regeneration, I call it something else. When the people who were here can't afford to be themselves. But I still drive the roundabout at 2 a.m. alone, and the elephant still knows me, still calls this city home. They say South London's changing, yeah, they said that all my life. But the roundabout keeps spinning, and the elephant survives. Not pretty, never was, but that was never the point. Elephant and Castle is a South London joint. Keeps turning like it's never gonna learn to stop.
iron gates and up the muddy path. London disappears like water from above. The foxes on this heath at night, they watch me from the dark. 100 hectares wild inside the city's biggest park. The Parliament Hill bench is cold beneath my legs, and all the constellation lists are falling off their pegs. Orion's hunting something over Kentish town tonight, and I'm up here pretending that the altitude is flight. Nobody told me London had a wilderness inside, a place where you can lose yourself and never need to hide. Hampstead Heath at midnight, older than the streets below, where the grass remembers centuries. The buildings will never know. Let me lie beneath the oak trees, let the city fade away. Hampstead Heath at midnight, I could stay, I could stay. I could stay, I could stay. Black and still reflections of the sky. 100 years of swimmers in the water floating by. Keats once walked this very path, consumptive, burning bright. His house is down the hill, preserved in amber light. The vow of health is quiet, the Spaniard's inn is closed, and every ghost of literary London decomposed into the soil beneath my feet, the roots of ancient trees. And Hampstead holds its history with ephemeris degree. Hampstead Heath at midnight, older than the streets below, where the grass remembers centuries. The buildings will never know. Let me lie beneath the oak trees, let the city fade away. Hampstead Heath at midnight, I could stay, I could stay. A million people sleeping to the tube's familiar sound. But up here there's a silence that the city can't afford. A patch of earth that London somehow never paved or floored. I could stay, I could stay. I could stay, I could stay. Keeps breathing even when the city holds its breath.
Yeah. Victoria Embankment, hooking the North Shore. The plane trees leaning over like they're reaching for the water. Westminster on my left, the palace full of noise, but out here it's just streetlights and the engine steady poise. Cleopatra's Needle standing guard since 1878. An Egyptian obelisk in London rain, you can't make up this fate. The Sphinx on either side, the shrapnel scars from the Blitz. And London kept them standing, cause that's just how London sits. Embankment Drive, river on my right, the oldest road in London, wearing diamonds every night. But a Bridge glowing, Central Station underground. Embankment Drive, the sweetest London sign. Past Somerset House, past the Savoy's golden door, where the taxi rank is longer than the hotel's marble floor. The Strand becomes the Fleet Street if you follow the road east. From luxury to printing press, from glamour to the beast. But I sway on the river road, I stay where the water flows, where London shows its profile and its most cinematic pose. The London eye is tan and slow and patiently are blue. A Ferris wheel for no one, cause it's way past 2:30. Embankment Drive, live it on high. The oldest road in London, wearing diamonds every night. The blue bridge going, Temple Station, when the road. Embankment Drive, the sweetest London sound. Fog, the bridge, the haze. Turner did it earlier in his apocalyptic phase. And me, I'm just a driver with a windscreen full of rain, seeing something beautiful that I can't quite explain. And the embankment keeps its promise. Beauty on the way to somewhere else.
The neon signs are stacking up in red and green and gold. Best curry in the city, every restaurant is bold. Brick Lane smells like cardamom and leather and fresh rain. And every Sunday morning there's a market down the lane. But midnight strips it back to just the glow and the graffiti. Banksy on the shutters and the street art growing freely. The old Truman Brewery towering over Bangor town. A chimney stack of history in London's trendiest crown. Brick Lane glow, light me up tonight. Bengali and British and everything in sight. Layers on layers, the city never picks just one. Brick Lane glow, never done, never done, never done. The hut, da 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 da. The Huguenots came first, then the Jews, then Bangladesh. Each wave left something beautiful inside this narrow mesh. The mosque was once a chapel, was a synagogue before. And every brick remembers every person at its door. The vintage shops are sleeping, the bagel shop is not. Salt beef or salmon, always fresh, always hot. 24/7, bagel bakes in 7-7. Brick Lane's midnight snack is everyone's idea of heaven. Brick Lane glow, light me up tonight. Bengali and British and everything in sight. Layers on layers, the city never picks just one. Brick Lane glow, never done, never done, never done. Make it clean and curated, but Brick Lane's beauty is the mess, the unrelated. Sari fabric next to fixie bikes and vinyl stores. A street that contradicts itself, and that's what it's adored for. And the glow keeps changing color, but it never switches off.
Yeah. Nelly Ollis. You know all this weren't listening to them boys to the mic fucking brats, you know. Rockways in the turn with the sun of the soap in the team. Did I see you want it there in the time? Yeah. Dropping into Limehouse Link, the longest tunnel in the city. Concrete cathedral underneath the docks, no time for pretty. The air gets heavy, ventilation fans are screaming overhead. And every sound is amplified, the engine tires the dread. They built this road to hide the traffic from the money up above. Canary Wharf don't wanna see the grind beneath the glove. £1 billion a tunnel just to keep the surface clean. The most expensive hole in London that you've ever seen. Under the Docklands, under the glass, under the banker's parlors, lives we pass. Limehouse Link, no signal, no sky. Half a mile of darkness with the pedal running high. Every tile is watching, every camera's got my face. Limehouse Link, the fastest way through the slowest place. Limehouse Link, yeah. Limehouse Link, Limehouse Link, yeah. The walls are white and curving like the inside of a throat in London, swallowing me down to some subterranean note. I think about the dockers who unloaded ships right here. Chinese sailors, opium dens, a neighborhood affair. Now it's luxury apartments and the tunnel underneath. A city built on layers and the bones beneath its teeth. Dickens wrote about this place to fog the poverty, the crime. Now it's glass and steel and money, but the tunnel knows the grime. Limehouse Link, no signal, no sky. Half a mile of darkness with the pedal running high. Every tile is watching, every camera's got my face. Limehouse Link, the fastest way through the slowest place. Limehouse Link, yeah. Limehouse Link, Limehouse Link, yeah. Yeah. Past the West Ferry Junction, past the exit ramp to light the Docklands like railway overhead. No driver running bright. I surface in the Isle of Dogs, the towers all around, and everything that Limehouse hid is suddenly above ground. The Millennium Dome across the water, silver strange. A tent for celebrations that are now outside its range. But the tunnel doesn't care what's built above its hollow spine. It's just pushing cars through darkness, one lane at a time. They say you shouldn't stop in here, there's cameras every 10. But I've been stuck in Limehouse Link enough to know this then. The emergency phone box is glowing blue against the wall. The longest 20 minutes in the short disturbance sprawl. And Limehouse swallows one more car and doesn't even blink. Hey. Limehouse Link, Limehouse Link, Limehouse Link.
I'm standing on the line where east becomes a west. A brass strip in the courtyard puts the whole world to the test. 0 degrees of longitude, the starting point of time. And Greenwich holds a measurement of every paradigm. The observatory's dome is white against the winter sky. And all the clocks in London set their rhythm from this height. The cutty sark below me mashed like fingers pointing up. A tea clipper frozen solid in a Greenwich coffee cup. Greenwich Meridian, the center of it all, where time began its counting and the world became a ball. I'm standing on the border between yesterday and now. Greenwich Meridian, teach me when and how. Down to the river and the Naval College gates, painted ceilings, Christopher Wren, the most unlikely of estates. And down the hill the market's been here longer than the road, selling antiques and street food from a century-old abode. The foot tunnel to Island Gardens, Victorian and deep, a passage underwater where the echo goes to sleep. And London from the other side looks different heading south. Greenwich holds the mirror to the city's open mouth. It's funny how a line drawn by an astronomer one night became the way we organized the dark and the light. Every time zone spinning from this small patch of ground, a quiet neighborhood that gave the world its sound. And the meridian keeps running through the night like it was always there.
Hackney Road at midnight is a different kind of beast, where the warehouse clubs are thumping from the west side to the east. The bouncers standing rigid by the unmarked metal doors, and inside there's a bassline shaking through the concrete floors. Shoreditch spills his skinny jeans across the southern end. Hackney keeps it real around the Cambridge Heath Road bend. This road's been many things, Victorian, industry poor, and now it's art galleries next to chicken shops galore. Hackney Road, bass in every brick. East London's main line running thick and sick. We've been here before the hype, we'll be here after the trend. Hackney Road don't follow, Hackney Road don't bend. Oh, the London fields are dark now, but the pub's still serving late. The Broadway market hipsters are debating something great. But Hackney Road don't care about your flat white or your zine. It's taxi rank and minicab and somewhere in between. Main Street intersection, kebab grease on a wheel. And every Friday night the road remembers how to feel. The Hackney Empire's lights are off, the comedians have gone, but the road keeps telling jokes that only East London's laughing on. Hackney Road, bass in every brick. East London's main line running thick and sick. We've been here before the hype, we'll be here after the trend. Hackney Road don't follow, Hackney Road don't bend. Peace in every brick, peace in every brick, peace in every brick. Peace in every brick, peace in every brick, peace in every brick, every brick. The Regent's Canal crosses overhead, a bridge between two moods, and arrow boats and tower blocks and separate solitudes. I've driven down this road 1,000 times, and every trip reveals another layer that I didn't think existed. From the Geffrey Museum Gardens to the gasworks turned to flats, the road adapts, absorbs and spits you out, and that is that. Hackney Road was grind before they put it in a genre name. A frequency, a feeling, and an undefeated flame. They wrote about the death of East London every year since 2005, but Hackney Road keeps pulsing and is very much alive. You can't kill a road that's had the plague, the fight, the blitzes. Hackney Road's been through it all and never called it quits. Bass in every brick, bass in every brick, bass in every brick. Don't find a halfway. Bass in every brick, bass in every brick. Bass keeps leaking through the walls into the Hackney night. Don't follow, follow, follow.
The palace gates are golden in the lamplight and the mist. And Kensington at midnight feels like something from a list of places that belong to someone else's kind of dream. The garden stretching outward like a royal satin seam. feel like I belong. The orangery's closed now, the afternoon tea crowd is gone. No bone china, no scones, no would you like to carry on? Just moonlight on the gravel and a fox between the hedgerows. And London's precious postcode in its quietest of shows. The Albert Memorial glowing gothic gold across the way. Victoria's tribute to the husband she lost on a winter's day. And love is in the architecture, love is in the stone. Kensington at midnight proves you're never quite alone. They guard this place with ravens, with tradition, with a crown. But at night it just belongs to anyone who slows down. No tickets, no admission, just the moon above the lawn. And the feeling that this city keeps its tenderness adored. And the palace keeps its lights on, even when there's no one left to see.
Down the spiral ramp, the Rotherhithe is tight. Single lane each way, no room to breathe, no room for flight. Built in 1908, the oldest road, tunnel crossing south to north. Mark Brunel dug the first one and his son kept pushing forth. The tires are cracked and yellow, there's a drip from overhead. And somewhere in the middle, you're beneath the riverbed. The clearance is so low, the double-deckers can't get through. Just cars and vans and motorbikes in a claustrophobic queue. Down below the Thames, the pressure builds and builds. Down below the surface where the city's silence fills. Rotherhithe Tunnel, tighter than a fist. Underwater passage on the city's oldest list. No turning back, no stopping, just the exit up ahead. Rotherhithe Tunnel, living underground instead. The ventilation shaft is visible from Brunel Road above. The chimney for the carbon and the monoxide we shove into the lungs of London, into the belly of the beast. The tunnel doesn't judge you, it just carries you from east to west or west to east, depending on the lane you choose. And either way you surface with the feeling that you lose a little piece of sanity each time you make the dive. The Rotherhithe and what it means to be alive. Rotherhithe, tighter than a fist. Underwater passage on the city's oldest list. No turning back, no stopping, just the exit up ahead. Rotherhithe Tunnel, living underground instead. Wiping on the north side where the pirates used to hang. Execution dock, the river's just as cold and bang. Rotherhithe, the south side where the Mayflower set its sail. The pilgrims left for America from this unlikely trail. And now I'm crossing underwater in a Vauxhall Corsa lake, between two bits of London that the river tried to separate. But tunnels are the answer to the water's ancient no. And Rotherhithe keeps whispering there's always a way to go. They built the Thames barrier to hold the water back, and the tunnel holds the traffic in its narrow little track. Two kinds of engineering fighting nature's oldest force, and London keeps on crossing, keeps on running its own course. Somewhere in the Rotherhithe, the river doesn't know I'm there.
their stalls an hours ago, but Portobello Road at midnight keeps its afterglow. The Victorian arcades are locked with iron and chain, and every window's full of things that someone loved and lost again. Silver teaspoons, vinyl records, military codes, vintage postcards from a seaside town with little handwritten notes. The street is narrow, cobbled, still beneath the tarmac thin, and every shopfront hides a century of everything within. Portobello Midnight, where the old things never die. They just wait in glass cabinets for the next one walking by. Everything's for sale except the feeling in the air. Portobello Midnight, handle with care. The Westway overpasses humming concrete lullabies, and down below the terraced houses stack their colored highs. Pink and yellow, blue and cream, a painter's fever dream. And Portobello stitches them together at the seam. And the record shop said Bowie in the window when he lived just up the road. And Hendrix played a flat on Brook Street shoulder to the classic code of Handel, two doors down, 2 centuries apart. And Portobello holds them both inside its beating heart. Portobello Midnight, where the old things never die. They just wait in glass cabinets for the next one walking by. Everything's for sale except the feeling in the air. Portobello Midnight, handle with care. Saturday's a circus, tourists shoulder to shoulder in the rain. But midnight strips it back to just the lamplight and the lane. The real Portobello isn't market day at all. It's this, the quiet hours, the empty midnight stall, where every object has a ghost and every ghost has got a price. And London sells its memories and somehow sells them twice. And Portobello keeps collecting things the city throws away.
Tell me, have you ever driven Park Lane after 3 a.m. when the Dorchester's last storming waves the final road away? When the only sound is money settling quietly to sleep, and Hyde Park on your left is dark and ancient, wild and deep. This is London's richest mile, but midnight makes it fair. As that stretch of tarmac doesn't know or care what you can spare. I'm driving in a 10-year-old Peugeot with scratches on the door, and Park Lane treats me just the same as every Maybach that came before. Park Lane, I can't afford the view, but the road is free, the moon is free, the midnight air is too. Penthouse lights above me, penthouse vibes I'll never leave. Park Lane, the most expensive road for the cheapest kind of speed. Park Lane, I got me covered. The marble arches glowing where the Tyburn gallows stood. They used to hang men here for stealing ribbons, stealing food. Now it's Gucci, Louis Vuitton, a different kind of news. And London keeps its violence, but it polishes the bruise. The Hilton still got Trader Vic's.
the last tiki bar in town, where a banker drinks some Mai Tai while the market's burning down. And I'm just passing through, my window down, the night air cool. Park Lane at 3 a.m., the most democratic London jewel. Funny how the poshest road in London has no toll, no velvet rope, no guest list, no requirement for a soul. Just point your car and drive it north or south, it doesn't care. The only place in Mayfair where you don't need what to wear. Park Lane, 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 Park Lane goes to sleep the same way every other London road does, slowly, then all at once.
Yo.
Whoa, 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 hey, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Who remembers when this road was ships and rope and sweat? When the whole of East London smelled like salt water and death. Commercial Road, the names are scarred from Empire and the docks. When 1,000 men will clock in at the sound of morning knocks. Now it's curry houses, fabric shops, a mosque beside a pub, and the ghost of every docker drinking in an invisible club. Whitechapel bleeds into it from the west, Limehouse from the east. This road's the table set for London's oldest feast. Commercial Road, you don't dress up for anyone. Headlights on the A1 and the work is never done. Every lane's a century, every block's a different tongue. Commercial Road, forever old and forever young. I passed the blind beggar pub where Ronnie Cray pulled his gun, and 3 doors down a grandmother is feeding everyone biryani at midnight, steam against the glass. Taxi drivers queuing for a plate they know will last. The DLR above me rattles like a silver snake, and underneath the district line is bending till it breaks. This is the London no one writes about in travel blogs. Just the sound of living, just the turning of the coast. Commercial Road, you don't dress up for anyone. Headlights on the A1 and the work is never done. Every lane's a century, every block's a different tongue. Commercial Road, forever old and forever young. Never old and forever young. Never old and forever, never old and forever, never old and forever young. Never old and forever, never old and forever, never old and forever young. Never old and forever, never old and forever young. Shower basin's quiet, the water black as ink, and somewhere Jack the Ripper walk. But I don't wanna think about the tourist version when the real one's standing here. In the neon of the late night shops, in the laughter and the beer. Stepney Green and Mile End, the road just keeps on giving. Proof that London's beauty is a monument, it's living. And Commercial Road don't stop for photographs or praise. It just keeps feeding London through the ordinary days. Not the kind of road that ends up on a calendar or frame, but that's the East End where his heartbeat is, they'll tell you just the same. Commercial Road, unglamorous, unkind to your new shoes, but the realest road in London if you got nothing to lose. And the ducks are gone, but the road still carries everything to see. Woo, woo.
Four white chimneys stitched into the sky like cigarettes. The London lit in 1993 and hasn't finished yet. But Battersea Power Station, cathedral made of coal, where electricity was worship and the turbine was the soul. They shut it down, they left it, let the pigeons have the nave. And for 40 years it sat there, half a ruin, half a grave. Pink Floyd put a pig above it, floating fat and free. And that was more attention than the building thought it'd see. Battersea, you beautiful machine, prettiest corpse the city's ever seen. They couldn't let you die, couldn't let you fall, so they filled you up with money and they built a shopping mall. Battersea, oh, what have we done? Turned a power station into afternoon sun. I remember climbing through the fence when I was 17, before the cranes arrived, before the architect's wet dream. The control room still the dials frozen, dusty ground, like the whole of London's power was once held inside my hand. The turbine hall was hollow and the echo went for days, and pigeons flew through broken glass in dusty golden rays. That version's gone forever, buried under Apple's UK base. And Battersea got beautiful but lost its broken face. Is it better now? I walk the riverside and wonder. The restaurants are lovely and the flats are going under. For 2 million Riverview, concierge on every floor. But the building was more honest when the windows had no door. When the rain got in and ivy climbed the brick. When Battersea was ugly, but the ugly was the trick. And the chimneys still reach upward, even though there's nothing left to burn. Shoreditch is finally being honest. Paint thinner and espresso, that's how Shoreditch smells at 4. When the DJs finally surface and the galleries lock their doors, I'm sitting in a window that was once a loading bay, where they hoisted bolts of silk up from the horses and the dray. Now it's someone's studio, all exposed brick, all light, and the floorboards hold the weight of every Shoreditch reinvention night. I used to be embarrassed saying that I live round here, like loving something trendy was a thing I had to fear. Shoreditch Slow, when nobody's performing, the vintage shops are shuttered and the Sunday is still forming. No fixed gear bicycles, no one pouring no milk guard. Shoreditch Slow, that's when you show your heart. Shoreditch Slow. Remember 04, before the money, before the brand, when a warehouse party cost a $5 and a stamp on your hand. When Ravington Street was dodgy and the old blue loss was rough, and nobody was curating anything. Love was enough. It changed, of course it changed. The rent made sure of that. But somewhere under 7 layers of concept, there's a flat where someone's making something with their hands at 3:30. And Shoreditch at its slowest is the closest thing to free. Every neighborhood in London has its arc of cool and crash. The artists make it interesting, the money turns it ash. above the chippy, where nobody's got followers and everybody's tipsy. And Shoreditch breathes out slowly when there's no one left to impress.
And suddenly the sky, more sky than any part of London ever lets you by. The cable singing overhead, the estuary below, and Kent becomes Essex in the river's ancient flow. Dartford Crossing where the M25 touches God, a suspension bridge and tunnel at the city's eastern nod. The toll booth goes so digital now, cameras catch your plate and charge you for the privilege of leaving London's gate. Dartford Crossing, open wide, let me out, let me over, let me to the other side, where the marshes meet the motorway and London starts to end. Dartford Crossing, the orbit sharpest bend. Dartford Crossing, the orbit sharpest bend. QE2 Bridge, the Queen Elizabeth, the second off the ship. Though the river here is wide enough for any transatlantic trip, the pylons stand like giants in the estuary mist, and every lorry driver knows the wind up here is kissed with something dangerous, something that could push you off your lane. And every time I cross, I hold the steering wheel through the strain. Below me in the tunnel, another stream is heading south, 2 ways across the water, London's double-barreled mouth. Dartford Crossing, open wide, let me out, let me over, let me to the other side, where the marshes meet the motorway and London starts to end. Dartford Crossing, the orbit sharpest bend. Thurrock on the north, the blue water mall is glowing bright, a cathedral built for shopping in the middle of the night. And Dartford on the south gave us the Stones, Mick and Keith, grew up underneath the sky road, rock and roll beneath a grey suburban English sky that somehow made them burn. And maybe that's the lesson that the crossing wants to learn, that beauty's in the leaving, in the moment that you break from the orbital you've circled round for your own sanity's sake. This is where commuters go from London to the coast, where the Essex boys and Kent girls raise a Friday night toast. The river's almost here, you can taste the salt ahead, and everything behind you is the London life you led. 1 more mile and I'm outside the ring for the first time. 1 more mile and the M fighting stars no longer mine.
South Bank, walk me home tonight. Past the bookstores and the buskers and the bridges full of life. Waterloo is waiting, but I'm not ready yet. South Bank, the longest way home, and my favorite kind of death. Last night I saw a play that broke me open on the inside. And now I'm walking home along the river at low tide. The National Fair is brutalist and beautiful and grey, like someone built a spaceship out of concrete and ballet. The skateboarders are still here underneath the undercroft. Their wheels on London's oldest DIY in a loft. They saved the space from developers, from suits who wanted shops, and now it's consecrated ground where nobody ever stops being young, being loud, being airborne for a second. South Bank, walk me home tonight. Past the bookstores and the buskers and the bridges full of light. Waterloo is waiting, but I'm not ready yet. South Bank, the longest way home, and my favorite kind of death. I stopped beside the BFI, the IMAX, like a drum. And under Waterloo Bridge, the cardboard city used to hum. They called it Cardboard City, people sleeping in the round. The most invisible community on London's most visible ground. It's gone now, swept away, like London sweeps most things. But the South Bank holds the memory underneath its wings. Past the Hayward Gallery, the Royal Festival Hall, where London puts its culture like a jewel inside a wall. Gabriel's Wharf, a string of fairy lights, and a woman selling jewelry she made on sleepless nights. The Oxo Tower blinking, the river pulling east, and me just one of thousands at this riverside feast. Walking slow, because the walking is the thing, not the destination, just the river and the listening. And the South Bank never closes, it just changes who it holds.
Brixton. Brixton. Yeah, based in a foundation. Base Kington, Brixton on a boat from Kingston town. Sound system in a suitcase, turn the whole of London brown. Yeah. One rush generation planted something in this fire. That no amount of gentrification, no amount of turmoil could ever dig back up. It's in the brickwork and the beat.
In the way that Brixton market smells of Aki on the street. Electric Avenue was the first road lit by lights, and Brixton's been illuminating London ever since that night. Brixton Hill, this in the foundation. Roots so deep they run beneath the entire nation. You can build your coffee shops, you can raise the rent, but the base was here before you and the base won't relent. Pow! Brixton Hill, Brixton Hill, speaker stock and sound. The deepest roots in London go on Brixton ground. Desmond's hip hop shop, the ritziest cinema, the wreck. The fridge where every raver in the 90s was a wreck. David Bowie born in Brixton, no he left for outer space, and a mural on the wall still has his lightning dainted face. But Brixton's not about the famous names that passed on through. It's the grandmother from Grenada cooking palau for a queue at the Granville Arcade. Sorry, Brixton Village now. Same jerk chicken, different sign, same feeling, different vow. I drive up Brixton Hill past Lambeth Town Hall and the prison, where they keep the walls Victorian and the sentences are risen. The barrier block looming like a fortress on the ridge, a building that was literally designed to be the bridge between the rich and poor, the north and south of the divide. And Brixton sits exactly on the fault line of London's pride, front line on Cold Harbour Lane. The history runs thick, from the riots to the rallies to the latest pop-up pick. They'll tell you Brixton's changed, and yet the wine bars tell that tale, but walk behind the high street where the bass bins never fail. There's a session in a backyard, there's a sound check in a yard, and the drum and bass is moving through the concrete like a shadow. Something uncontainable, something they can't zone. Brixton Hill's got bass, you feel inside your bones. Kids climbing up, but like the music never found a ceiling. Brixton Hill.
Midnight on the bridge, no tourists, no flash, just me and the tower and the moonlight on the glass. Security guard nodding 40,000 bobs alive. Tower Bridge performing for an audience of 5. The Bascules are sleeping flat, no tall ship coming through. And the Tower of London next door's got a raven's point of view of a city that was burning once, was frozen once, was bombed, and still keeps putting on a show as though it's never been alarmed. They almost tore you down, did you know that 1910? Some committee said you're ugly, said they'd rather start again. But London loved your towers and your chains and your excess, and kept you standing stubborn in your Victorian dress. Tower Bridge glow for me alone, like the river golden, like the wake back home. You've been standing since the Victorians decided London's east deserved a bridge, yes, any in the west. Tower Bridge, London's favorite light, on the outside, still on the inside, like the city, like the sky. Below you the HMS Belfast points its guns at the M1. A warship turned a museum in the shadow of the sun. And Butler's Wharf is sleeping, Shy Thames narrow, dark and cold, where the spice trade used to perfume. Everywhere a house full of gold. The river's pulling seaward and the bridge is standing still. 1,000 tons of iron bending to a Victorian will, and every lie reflected in the water doubles you. 2 tower bridges, one above, one below, both true. Everyone assumes you're London Bridge, the simple one. A mile up, ribbon and flag, getting none of the fun. You carry all the beauty and the postcard and the fame. London Bridge just carries all the people, not the same. But tonight I'm choosing you. is more than function, more than crossing, more than sea. And the bridge keeps glowing even when there's no one left to
Piccadilly, blinding, loud, center of the city, center of the crowd.
Step into the neon, let the circus take your name. The billboard screens are 20 meters high and selling light. And D-Rose balances on one foot in the middle of the night. They call him Heroes, but he's actually the angel of charity. A missing god of love above the city's rarest clarity. Their love and money share a postcode, share a roundabout. And Piccadilly Circus is what London's all about. Piccadilly, blinding, loud and proud. The center of the city and the center of the crowd. Turn it up, light it up, never let it fade. Piccadilly Circus, the brightest road we ever made. Shaftesbury Avenue, shooting west towards the stages where every actor, every dreamer has been burning through the ages. The Criterion's downstairs, the Trocadero's long gone, but Piccadilly keeps reinventing what to build upon. German streets got sailors who can cut you like a knife, and Fordham's got a clock that's been performing all its life. Every hour on the hour, little figures take a bow, and Piccadilly's been applauding since the 1700s even now. I remember standing there at 16, first time in the West End, couldn't afford a show, so I just watched the city bend its lights around the corner where Regent Street begins, and all of London's ambition was reflected in the tins of Coca-Cola's over 60 feet above my head. And I thought this is the center of the world, and I meant what I said. 20 years later, I'm still driving around the same old loop. Piccadilly's still the main act, still the shining true. They say Times Square's bigger, they say Shibuya's more intense, but Piccadilly's got the history and the British common sense to keep it slightly smaller, keep the chaos in a ring. A circus, not a stadium, a more intimate thing. The kind of place where strangers look up at the same electric sky and feel for half a second like the city's asking why we don't do this more often. Just stand still and just receive the light that Piccadilly gives to everyone who And the circus keeps on spinning underneath the neon like a prayer that never ends. Piccadilly.
Somewhere between the last bar closing and the first bird singing, I pulled over on Westminster Bridge and left the engine running. Big Ben was lit up gold against the lilac kind of sky that only happens once right now, the hour before July. Or March or any month, it doesn't matter, it's the same. That London at the edge of dawn forgets its own last name and just becomes a river and a skyline and a bridge. And me with both hands resting on the steering wheel's cold ridge. I've driven every road tonight, the tunnels and the hills, the orbital, the avenues, the terraces, the grills. rows of chicken shops and taxi ranks and palace gates and locks. And London kept unfolding like a city made of clocks. Each neighborhood a different time, a different century. And I was just a needle tracing grooves across the city's LP. From Hackney's Road to Kensington's refined, from Brixton Base to Greenwich Line. Every road a different verse, and every verse was mine. London, I'm letting go, fading out like the streetlights in the morning's glow. I don't know what I was looking for on every midnight street, but driving through your darkness made the darkness feel complete. London, fade me out. London, fade me out. London, fade me out. London, fade me out. The joggers will be here soon, and the coffee shops will steam, and the city I've been driving through will wake up from my dream. The Thames will catch the sunrise like it's done 10,000 times, and Big Ben will count the hours in its ordinary chimes. I won't remember all of it, the road, the rain, the song, but London has a way of keeping you even when you're gone. A frequency, a feeling in the fog behind your eyes, a sound of being somewhere that is bigger than your life. So this is how it ends, not with a crash but with a glow. The dashboard says 540 and the city's moving slow, and every road I've driven folds back into one, and London yawns and stretches and turns to face the sun. And the city keeps on waking up